being really good. Or wasn't it Boo? It might have been somebody else. Axlab? Probably Axlab and Boo. I think he had like a whole bunch of people all together. Axlab definitely did one. His were really, really good. I'd like to see more of these level players do commentaries, because this is what these are what fans of the game want to watch. They want to learn from these people who are living the dream. They're playing professionally. You know, they're not getting crazy amounts of money, but they're getting to go to tournaments. They're getting to meet people. They're getting to have industry experience by interacting with Blizzard and having tournament experience if they want to do something later with it. It's a really nice thing for them to do, and players that want to achieve that should probably be learning from these players who are on the fringe right now and who are not fringe as far as popularity. I mean, everybody knows Boo and everyone knows Longwalk. They've been around for a long time. Excuse me. That's the other thing about something I've been learning in my speech classes. I talk really too fast. Even in for American standards, I'm a pretty good speed talker, and it's a bad thing because people can't follow you when you talk too fast. And if you use a lot of audible pauses, it makes you look unprepared, which in this case I am. But just how it works. It's hard for me to slow down because I've been doing it for so long, and it's just kind of become my style. And we're kind of at a dead zone here. There's both players at the same kind of food count level, 71, 73, except we got the Tri expansion, or the Tri gold mine going for Boo. There's still 3,000 gold left in his primary gold mine. And you notice, he's, like I said before, he's staying in the low upkeep. There's no reason for him to make more and more farms and to try to expand his army, because he knows Longwalk's army is about the same size, and there's no reason for them to for him to take an economic loss by being in high upkeep and risk giving more units to Longwalk. Normally, that's not the case. You notice the Longwalk backed off right here, mainly because the Scroll of Protection was used and he had some poor positioning. Throughout this game, Boo and Longwalk do really, really good decision-making of when to town portal out. It's a skill that not a lot of players have, to know what's a bad situation just by watching it and just by instantly seeing where you're at to switch the expo here. So I didn't notice if the Archmage, he must have used a Tome of Retraining, because that looks like a pretty high-level Blizzard. So he used Tome of Training. That's a common thing to do with Archmage. You don't see it that much in regular ladder play, but using your Tome, once you get your Archmage to level 5, the Water Elementals used for creeping aren't as effective, especially versus bears. So you switching to Blizzard, which is more effective versus bears, is definitely a good move. They are heavy armor, which takes extra from magic attacks. Although, I always wonder about those channeling abilities, because it seems players at the high level, they're not going to sit around and tank, 2 and 3 waves of Blizzard. But, we'll see. I know it becomes effective because in the end, Boo ends up winning this. Like I told you early on, this is the one game that they won in the series, and I wanted to highlight it because it was actually a pretty good game. We didn't actually post it at WCR. It's one of our replay guys, and I forgot the name at the moment here, but he decides to just link to it, which is fine by me. I think as long as we're including it and trying to do our best to get the content out there, that's fine. So look at the army count now. Boo, as soon as he got into a big fight and he's ready to make his final push, now he busts into high upkeep. And that fight here was a big difference. He is now at 76 versus 87. He's got 10 food on him. He had really, really good positioning there. You notice that the mortar teams, mortar, were way in the back and able to get lots of damage done to the Dryads. And the Dryads here you notice them trying to get better positioning on the mortar teams. And Boo sees this, and he's trying to close the gap, but he doesn't make it in time. He starts channeling his Blizzard, but he realizes that the normal armored Spellbreakers are up right against the Druids of the Claw, and the Dryads are up against the mortar team. So that's the exact wrong combination. And he decides to town portal out correctly right away to get better positioning. So he slowed the units and he TP'd out. Really, really good move, I think. He does have the 2 scrolls of healing on his Archmage. He's got another one on his Mountain King. Always essential. On maps that have the scrolls of healing available at the Goblin Merchant, I highly suggest buying. Buy them all the time and use them correctly. You don't want to use them when there's only your hero is low on health and your whole army is low. It's all meant to when your heroes are or when your whole army is a little bit low, you want to bring them up to speed all the time. Boo's attacking all his footmen now by himself to lower the food count back to low upkeep, and which he did. He's at 78 instead of over 80 food now. He will bust into the high upkeep when a big fight happens again, but he took out all those footmen so he can better stay in the resources, and when he decides to make more units, he's not going to make more footmen, he's going to make more spellbreakers, which are basically upgraded footmen with lots of cool abilities. This is my favorite part of the replay right here, and not because it works, it doesn't actually work, but I'm glad to see it. This is my favorite strategy in all of Warcraft, is the invisible mortars. You don't see this very much at all at the pro level or the semi-pro level, and very rarely in ladder play for humans to do this. Mostly they just kind of stick to big armies and fighting. This is why it's effective. Look, Boo walks right by Longwalk's army, and even if Longwalk knows that there might be something going around, the micro will move around there so he doesn't screw up the units. Does a really, really good job of keeping that back. He do? Where did he put all his Sorks and stuff? He keeps all his Sorks and Spellbreakers in the middle of all those towers at his natural expansion. Or sorry, at the far left expansion, not his natural. And he goes in here. Now Boo does a very, very good job of keeping his Tree of Life alive here. If I was Longwalk does a good job keeping his Tree of Life alive. He uproots it, which is maybe a mistake real quick, because it's going to lower the armor there, but he was able to start healing it with his Wisps, and starts gobbling up a tree, and gets it out with like 200 hit points. Was maybe one more wave of Mortar Fire probably could have killed it, so maybe he TP'd out a little bit early, but better safe than sorry, and you forced your opponent to kind of think twice about what he was doing. That was kind of a delay tactic. It would have been nice to be able to take out that expansion, but slowing it down, making him uproot so he has to re-entangle and then make more Wisps and put it on there, that's a nice delay tactic to stop the income from coming in. Check out his income right now. He's stuck at 337 gold. He's not able to make anything more, while we still have 2 gold mines pumping. 3, almost 140 left in that last one for Boo. He just now expired, right? In a second here, he's going to run out of gold. Another 6 pulls. Anyway, good move by Boo. Very strategic player here. He's got the micro, he's got the strategy. I mean, there's not a lot that Boo doesn't have, and he's been a great player for many, many years. And as he gets older and as he plays more and more games, you can really see him evolving. It'd be interesting to see replays of Boo back maybe a year ago or 2 years ago and see all the differences in his play style. Obviously, maybe some new strategies were being used, but maybe not. Maybe he just kind of evolved what he was doing, his force groups through whatever else he's been learning by watching other players. The evolution of players is really an interesting topic to me, and I've discussed it before years ago or months ago since my last commentary now, but alright, here's one of the last fights, if not the last fight. You'll see Blizzard doing very, very effective work on those bears now. The Demon Hunter is stuck behind his bears because of really bad positioning for the most part. Anti-magic shield and Demon Hunter, good job, since he's going to be tanking all that damage from Blizzard and maybe Bolt or Thunderclap from the Mountain King. But he does a good job of mana burning him anyway. Taking a look at the food counts, like we said, upgraded. Lots of army going for Boo and not so much for Longwalk. The last 2 big fights here has pretty much gone the same way. Slow is just very, very effective. You don't see it that much anymore. I mean, too many humans just rely on priests and sorceresses or mass tanks or something, like cheesy strategies. This is a good mix of units. This is just like what core human strategy should be. I just love watching human games that have army compositions like this. You get to see cool things like sorceresses using invisibility to save that Mountain King just there. You get to see sorcerers using invisibility to save this Archmage here in a second. Just really cool little moves that you don't get to see from most human strategies. And this game's going to be over within a minute here. It's just about them finishing. So while Boo wraps things up with Longwalk, I'll talk a little bit more about, I guess, my plans for the future here. I'm always looking at hiring more people at WCR. I look at the member commentary section first, and the last few times that we've come close to announcing a public hiring for the audio department, I've just decided to go to the member audio commentary section and pick some of the active or more popular commentators there.